The light said, Andy, remember, everything on the planet is an illusion. It isn't real. Reality is in the light. When you're on Earth, it's like being in a Broadway play and there are 8 billion actors and everybody's doing their part, but that's not reality. My name is Andy Petro. I'm probably one of the oldest people here. In fact, I'm going to be 84 sometime next week. I don't think of that date anymore because doesn't mean much to me. But anyway, let me go back to the story. It was a few days before graduation from high school. We went as a class to a lake outside of Detroit. I'm swimming out to the raft to where my friends are. There's a floating platform out there. And about halfway there, I get really bad cramps and I can't kick anymore. And then I'm starting to drown. I go down one time. I'm struggling to get up to the top. I reach to the top. I look over, I can see my friends on the platform. I'm waving to them, but I can't stay above the water. They're waving back, thinking I'm playing a game, and then I'm sinking down. From that point on, I never came to the surface again. As I'm going down deeper and deeper into the lake, it's getting really very, very cold. This is June, and lakes in Michigan in June don't know about summer. It's still really very cold, and I'm shivering and shaking, and I'm falling deeper and deeper, and then all of a sudden I can feel the weeds at my feet as they're going deeper, and now I can't see anymore. I don't know if it's because my eyes shut off or because it was really that dark. And then finally I hit the bottom of the lake, and I hit in a sitting position, and I'm sitting there, and I say, oh, this is great. Now I can just use my hands to push me up. And as I'm pushing down, my hands now get stuck in the mud. And now I'm there in terrible pain, frightened to death. And then I hear this voice. Someone's talking to me in my head. And the voice says, Andy, you have to relax and let go for just a minute. And I said, no, I can't. I need one breath of air. That's all I need. And then the voice says to me, no, Andy, you have to relax. You have to stop. You have to let go. And then I said to the voice in my head, okay, I'll let go, but do you promise to let me continue to fight? And the light says, yes, okay, we promise. And then I let go. And the minute I formed the word go in my head, I popped out of my body, frozen, cold, shivering, shaking. And in a minute, what I call a moment of no time, I'm now in a tunnel, and I'm looking around, and I'm not cold, I'm not freezing, I can breathe. I'm in a body, but I don't recognize the body. And I look around, and I see down as I'm looking over to the left, I can see down at the bottom of the lake, there's my body. And I'm saying, well, that's strange because I couldn't see down there, but I see it. And then I look away, and I was not concerned. And I turn in the other direction, and I see the tunnel, and at the end of the light of the tunnel is a bright light. And as I look at the light, it's so bright, I say to myself, this thing should be burning my retinas. This is the brightest thing I could ever imagine. It's like 1,000 suns all exploding at the same time. And then I'm pulled into the tunnel, like by a gentle magnet. And I'm pulled into the tunnel. And as I'm moving into the tunnel, I can feel a breeze on my face. And then at the next moment of no time, I'm now in a giant sphere, in a ball, the size of a basketball coliseum. And I'm hovering in the center of the ball. And next to me, I can't see it, but I know it's there, is the light. And the light and I are talking, not with my mouth, because I don't have a mouth anymore. I don't have eyes, I don't have ears, but I have things that allow me to communicate and to see and to hear. And as I look on the inside of the giant sphere, are countless, maybe thousands, hundreds of thousands of like little TV sets or movie screens. And each one has a specific action that I had taken in one of my many lives. And as I looked at one, as soon as I would focus on one, I would immediately, almost magically, be there. And now I was repeating what I was watching, but I was there. The difference is every time I relived one of my life experiences, I relived it in such a fashion that I knew and understood what everyone was thinking, and how they were feeling about our interaction. And then all of a sudden, again, in a moment of no time, I pop out of the sphere, and I'm in the tunnel now, and I'm getting very close to the light. And the light is in front of me now, and it's like a giant silhouette, like a target in a rifle range. And I was in the Marines, so I understand what that target looks like. And it was kind of like that. There was no gender to it. It was just a light, but it was very loving and warm, and it was pulling me. And as I got close to the light said three things that I could understand. And he said it in English because I could only understand English in my body at that time. And the light said to me, Andy, don't be afraid. Andy, I love you. And Andy, we love you. And when the light said, Andy, we love you, in back of the light, there were billions of other lights, just like me. Holographic pieces of the light. And they all said in one big chorus, Andy, welcome home. And I can tell you, that is the best I've ever felt as I was in existence. It was so wonderful to be home. And at that point, when the billions of other pieces of the light said, Andy, welcome home, I was absorbed into the light. I didn't go into the light. I was absorbed into the light. And it was like if the light was a large glass of water, and if Andy was a teaspoon of sugar, and you put the sugar in the water and spin it around, and then look at it, where's Andy? Everywhere. Where's the light? Everywhere. I became the light. I was not greater than the light. I was not lesser than the light. I was a holographic piece of the light. And I was ecstatic. My whole body right now, as I am speaking, is filled with chills. I remember it as if it just happened 10 seconds ago, not 65 years ago. That feeling has never left me. And it has been the thing that has kept me going when I really felt that I didn't belong coming back. But that'll come up in a second. So then the light says, Andy, let's go. Do you have any questions for me? And my answer was, no, I don't have any questions. Why? Because when I was absorbed by the light, I knew everything the light knew. I knew everything. Yeah, come on. No, I did. I knew everything about everything when I was in the light. And we went around and traveled through universes. It seemed like I was there for maybe years. In Earth time, I was there for about 10 minutes because it took 10 or 15 minutes for somebody to find my body and bring me back up on shore. I didn't know any of that was going on because I wasn't there. The body was there, but I wasn't home. I was in the light. And I'm having so much fun in the light. It's funny, and we were talking and laughing, and we were talking about when we were viewing my life in the sphere of the now. When we were viewing my life, we were laughing at, Andy, you spent so much of your time on all these planets being too serious. Life is to be enjoyed. That's why you've come to the various planets to experience what you can experience in the light, because in the light there are no highs and lows, there are no fat and thin, there is no light and day. It's all unconditional love that consumes you and absorbs you, and that is the pinnacle of what it feels like to be an entity. So then, after that point in time, the light says to me, Andy, it's time to go back. It's time to go back. No. I said, no way, I'm not going back. I'm sorry. No, the answer is no. And the light says for the second time, Andy, you're going back. And I said, excuse me, did you hear what I said? I'm staying here. I'm home. Why would I ever want to go back? And the third time the light said to me, Andy, you're going back. When I heard the K in back, I was stuffed back into my body, which now was no longer in the mud at the bottom of the lake, but was laying on the sand at the beach. And during that entire process, from the moment I drowned until the moment I was stuffed back into my body, I never lost 1 second of consciousness. I have no voids, no dark spots, No, I can't remember. I remember everything, every moment, every second of that time. And now I'm in my body, and I start to cry. And all my classmates are around me. Oh, they're so glad that I'm alive. I'm not that happy about it, but they're so glad that I didn't die on senior picnic day. And so I look around and I say, why are you crying? And it must be pain. Yeah, it must be pain. So I said, well, tell me what happened. What do you remember? And I said my first great lie. I don't remember a damn thing. It's a complete blank, because I couldn't tell them about the light. I didn't even know what it was. How am I going to explain that? I was born brought up as a Catholic. I went to confession every week. I was a very, very religious in capital letters person. And when I'm in the light, what I saw and experienced in the light did not correlate or relate at all to what I knew and what I was taught on earth. So, okay, that's it. I'm going. So I thought to myself, well, okay, I know what will happen. I know that eventually I'll forget about this. So I started a journey to forget, and I couldn't forget. I dream about it every night. I could talk. I was feeling like the phrase was, I felt like a stranger in a strange land. I didn't belong here. I belong in the light. That's what I can remember. That's where I want to go. That's where I want to be. Well, it's been over 65 years and I'm still here. What are you waiting for, Andy? I'm sorry. But that is with me. That experience is with me 24/7, all the time. Now, I spent those 25 years searching. I searched all the major religions. I did meditations. I did all types of yoga. I did everything I could to try to see if I could understand this. It wasn't until I read Dr. Moody's book that I said, that's what I had. Took me almost 30 years to figure out I had a near-death experience, but I had it so early in time, the phrase didn't even exist until I read it in the book. And so at that point in time, I'm saying, okay, now I know what it is. It still took me 10 or 15 years before I spoke about it the first time. I never told anyone for almost 40 years. And then I started talking about it. I found IONS, I joined IONS, I started doing TV shows, radio shows. But the point is, what's the point, Andy? The point is that was such a wonderful, blissful thing. And the things that I remember from the light telling me, the light said, Andy, remember, everything on the planet is an illusion. It isn't real. Reality is in the light. When you're on Earth, it's like being in a Broadway play and there are 8 billion actors and everybody's doing their part, but that's not reality. Reality only exists in the light. And so as a stranger in a strange land, I'm saying that has really been the most significant thing I could have ever experienced of Earth dying, because there is no death, Earth dying, going into the light and coming back. And even through all the years of trial and struggle and trying to understand, in the back of my mind, in the back of my memory, in the back of forever, will be my near-death experience, which is really